Justice Stevens wrote the dissent. It was a very impassioned dissent. He made the crucial observation that corporations and people are not the same, and that corporations have much more ability to influence the political process than do real live people. Noting, for example, that the unparalleled resources, professional lobbyists, and single-minded focus they bring to this effort make quid pro quo corruption and its appearance inherently more likely when they, corporations or their conduits or trade groups, spend unrestricted sums on elections. And he said, with no shortage of biting sarcasm, the fact that corporations are different from human beings might seem to need no elaboration, except that the majority opinion almost completely elides it. So then he went on to actually spend a fair amount of time discussing the distinctions in law and in fact and in common sense between corporations and real live humans, noting, for example, that corporations have no consciences, no beliefs, no feelings, no thoughts, no desires. Now, what's it going to mean that corporations are now free to spend whatever they want to influence the outcome of elections? Well, here's a few facts that might provide some context for this. Almost $5.3 billion spent in the 2008 federal election. That includes contributions that were made in 2007 and 2008. During that same period, Exxon had profits that were more than 15 times as great, $85 billion. Pfizer saw its top-selling drug, Lipitor, gross $27 billion in revenues. And we can compare also the bonus and compensation payments that Goldman Sachs has made for the 2009 year, just recently issued, of $16 billion. So what these data point up is the ability of the biggest corporations, if they choose, to completely overwhelm our political process with election-related expenditures. How's it likely to play out? I think we're going to see the evidence very quickly, and it's going to happen in a few different ways. A first way is that just generally there's going to be much more corporate money infused into the political process. Some corporations will take out their own ads and run their own campaigns for candidates or more likely against candidates. But more often we're going to see money funneled into trade associations, especially the Chamber of Commerce, that will run just nasty, vicious, hard-hitting campaigns using the media and whatever else is available to them to support or oppose candidates. We're going to see money channeled as well through front groups that have unrecognizable names that sound good, like Citizens United, for example, but actually are just carrying water for business interests. A second scenario we're likely to see is particular industries spending huge amounts of money across the political process to defend their narrow profit-making interests. I think two industries that are likely to spend a lot in these kind of campaigns as we go forward are the pharmaceutical industry and Wall Street. Pharma in particular has been very aggressive, even under the current campaign finance rules, in putting huge amounts of money into the electoral process with very visible results for which they take credit and are given credit and are paid back in the policymaking process. A third scenario we're likely to see is where individual companies go after particular adversaries. This is going to be especially important at the local and state level. And by the way, the Supreme Court decision means that localities and states must also permit corporations to spend whatever they want to influence election outcomes. So you can imagine an official at the state level, for example, who interferes with a mining company getting a permit to start a new mine, and that mining company just spending whatever it takes to get that official out of the way so they can proceed with their business plan. And then we're going to see something that's not going to be as evident and visible and trackable, but it will occur more generally and across the board, which is it's going to chill all elected officials. Everyone is going to know that if you speak out against corporate interests broadly or specific corporate interests, you face the prospect of a major corporate-run campaign against you. And that's just going to change the way elected officials act. It's going to change what kind of policies are considered, how they're considered, what gets support, and it's going to change who decides to run for office in the first place.